Home building to be at a decade low. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Grab your stein of coffee because today I want to look at this article from Mortgage Business. It's discussing home building expectations and, well, house sales. Now, I just want to remind you all of the Homebuilder program, how many houses were approved around the country. Now, I'd make the argument that a lot of those were projects that were going to happen anyway, but they were artificially brought forward. People started doing projects they probably wouldn't have done for a year or maybe a year or two later because they thought they were getting a deal with the money the government was giving them, up to 15 grand. Of course, you had to spend 150,000 to at least as a minimum to get that, so you were spending the money you were getting in GST anyway, so there you go. But one consequence of this, of stimulating the market, bringing projects forward, is that you'd see a drop-off in projects that either need to be replaced. And combine that with the fact that we've got a construction apocalypse with builders going under all the time. Right now, you've got a whole sector that's going to struggle to meet the needs of a continually growing population. So the next few years are going to be challenging. So a decade low of home building expected as sales drops, according to the HIA. Sales of new homes continue to decline in July, indicating 10-year lows for home building, the latest HIA new home sales report found. New home sales across the country fell by 2.4% in July, which, along with an increase of previous sales being called, have strengthened expectations that Australia will experience a decade low level of home building over the next year, according to the HIA senior economist, Tom DeVet. The decline in January has left sales in the 3 months, the decline in July, why am I thinking January? The decline in July has left sales in the 3 months to July 2023 down by 33.4% when compared to the same period in 2022. Sales decreased in most of Australia's largest states compared to the previous month, with Queensland leading the decline at 11.1%, Western Australia 9.3%, New South Wales 1.6%, and Victoria 0.6%. South Australia was the only state to record an increase in new home sales at 35.5%. Additionally, sales decreased in the 3 months to July 2023 when compared to the same period in 2022 in most states, led by Queensland at 52.3% decline. Oh boy. Sorry guys, I'm getting tired. It's Sunday afternoon. I need a shot of coffee. I flew to Sydney for work on Friday, hence no video yesterday because I was exhausted. I tell you, it's airport food isn't getting any cheaper. Anyway, keep going. New South Wales at 48.4%, Victoria at 37.2%, South Australia at 26%, and WA recorded the only increase of 17.3% for this period. Mr. DeVet stated that even a cut to the current cash rate would not produce a recovery in new housing commencements until the second half of 2024. This is where the push for new housing, for increasing the supply, for the Labor government pushing for another 200,000 houses, fantastic. You want more houses built. It's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a challenge, let's just say, to meet these figures. Underlying demand for housing continues to be supported by population growth, acute shortages of rental accommodation, and strong employment figures, Mr. DeVet said. Meeting the appropriate levels of new housing for Australia's current and future population will require changes to the other policies that inflate construction costs. These are not only interest rates, but also tax settings, land release, planning reforms, and macroprudential rules that squeeze out owner-occupiers and investors alike. Furthermore, Mr. DeVet welcomed the decision by the National Cabinet to pursue a new national target of 1.2 million well-located homes over 5 years from the 1st of July 2024. The move aims to address concerns over affordable housing demand in the midst of Australia's housing supply shortage. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese confirmed that this would be an additional 200,000 new homes above the National Housing Accord target, which was agreed to by states and territories last year. The National Cabinet's recent announcement to to increase its 5-year housing supply target is a welcome step in the right direction. Coordination among all levels of government and the industry will be crucial to achieving this goal. Well, yes, it certainly will be, and we'll have to see what happens. Let's have a bit of a chat about this one, guys. I can't say that I'm at all surprised by this. Let's bring up my PowerPoint here. Hang on. And we'll look at what I'm calling the pillars of the housing market here. So let's jump over and bring this up here, and we will look at it. There we go. So the pillars of the Aussie housing market, everyone. And if I'm clicking here, you can see we've got fewer bad loans. People are expecting a huge crash, a huge surge in defaults and people not able to pay their loans. Sure, there's some people that are struggling, and there will be some people that will lose their homes. But the question is, will it be enough to move the market? That's the reality of it. Will it be enough to significantly move the market? And I'm not talking about property that was selling for an insane amount during the mania going back down. I'm talking about a 20-30% cut to pre-COVID levels. That's what you want to look for if you've been sitting there waiting, because people in 2019 were saying housing's about to crash before any of this crazy shit happened in the last few years. You've got opening the gates, migration is returning. This is not going to change. Neither side of politics are going to reduce the migration intake for Australia. We just don't have the population growth naturally to be able to maintain all of the lifestyle that Australians want. So they're going to keep immigration going up. You're kidding yourself if you think it'll ever be decreased. Just look at the parties that are trying to make it a political issue. It's none of the big ones. What about the minor ones? The Greens don't care about it. You got One Nation maybe, and then you got Sustainable Australia. I mean, they're not that significant. It's not going to change. You've got the construction apocalypse. This playlist is now at 100 videos. I've got another video I've got to do after this of another builder going under. This is going to reduce our ability to meet the demand. Supply won't keep up. Supply already isn't keeping up with regards to housing. It's just going to get worse, particularly for multi-res. For detached housing. Multi-res may be where a lot of people are going to have to end up living. I wonder how many of these 1.2 million houses will be multi-res. You've got government support for the construction industry and for the economy in general. I mean, here you've got the cash rate. That helped the construction industry and housing. You've got Homebuilder. You've got grants forgiven, 5 and 2% government loan guarantees. Negative gearing is, it's never going to go away. I doubt it. I'd be shocked. You saw what Shorten did. And the super withdrawals. You've got the zombie companies kept alive, and I'd argue that has had an impact on some construction companies. It's taken a few years to work through. You've got the not in my backyard crowd and the councils and just the difficulty of getting any projects up. This is where state and council and federal government all need to work together. It's in addressing this. You'll have people there. You'll have people protesting housing affordability. The Greens, I see them, protesting housing affordability, then protesting development. What do you want? You want cheaper houses, but you don't want to build any? So you've got market competition. 50% of Aussies live in these 3 cities. Okay? This is when people look at how big Australia is. Yeah, it's because no one wants to live in any of this part here, okay? Because it's all shit. Guys, seriously, you don't want to live in the middle of Australia. Okay? You fly in there, earn a shitload of money, and you fly out. That's what happens. NCC changes, 30 grand. You've got constant changes to the National Construction Code, increasing the costs of building, and that's not going anywhere. We're a country that, likes to have aim for a certain level of quality or a certain level of energy mitigation, so that drives up the costs. APRA will intervene, they've said, to make sure that credit isn't choked off. They're already letting the banks get away with their way of interpreting the 3% buffer a little differently, so that's can instantly increase interest rates or people's borrowing capacity by a significant amount if they need to. Family support, even members here of the channel, 66% of you watching the channel would support a family member paying a loan. And finally, we've got the FOMO impact. So of all the sales that we've had in 2021, you're talking 600,000 properties changing hands compared to this many in the market. And let's just say the 2%ers are the ones most at risk, how much of an impact is that going to have on the overall market? And then finally, a demographic shift where we're shifting away from large families to single person households or smaller households. So guys, yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Thank you all for watching the channel. If you're a fan and want to support us, you can. Check out Heiser BIM or Heiser Does. And you can support us on YouTube or Patreon using our affiliate links, buying our merch, or calling me if you need an architect. No. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Hang on, wait a minute. That's one of those days today, guys. I'm tired.